Okay, one outstanding thing from last week, the transaction practice exercise, I did go through solutions to part 1 and 2, but we hadn't done part 3. So that won't take very long, just quickly looking. Again, we're using the Ironwood database, a stored procedure, okay, named USP for user-defined stored procedure, insert course, makes a new course record, returns an output parameter of the new identity value for the course ID. Okay, and we'll do a test in a moment. So let me just come back in. So I know I want to work in Ironwood. Again, a bit of a tip, highlight the database in Object Explorer before you click New Query. That will bring you up so that you're working already in that database. And I essentially want to create a stored procedure, right? Create, proc. Oh, I thought I had highlighted and copied the name. Let me just go back. Oh, my keyboard is not, okay, USP, R, insert course. Now, I know I want to have an output parameter, but of course, in order to insert a course, I have to have all the values necessary for the actual insert itself, right? All the fields that are required at the very least. So here's a bit of a tip. Well, maybe I'll make the output parameter first. And for data types, it's always useful to be able to just come over to the Object Explorer, expand the table, and you can see right away what the data types used for each column is right here. So it's a big int. Now I'm going to have other ones, but that will be the output parameter, right? So between begin and end is where I'll do the actual work. So the basic job of this procedure is just going to be to insert the course. So we'll need other parameters in a minute, but a bit of a tip to help you write your basic action queries. Just like we have our tool that helps us with our select queries, one of the things I can do is come over here to the Object Explorer again, highlight that table, and right-click. When I right-click on the table, under the scripting options, I can say Script Table As, Insert To. Okay. I'll use a new query window just to put it in. So this gives me an insert command. Right? It's like a template. Notice it doesn't actually have values, but it does give me the whole insert into the table, okay, with the brackets and the list of fields to supply. And it is smart enough, right, that it knows that we don't have to provide a value for course ID because that, being an identity, is generated by the system itself. Right? And then values down here, it uses these little angle brackets to indicate that, okay, this is the type of information, a varchar 10, okay, that has to go here for the course name. These, of course, we would replace these with actual values to do an insert. But using that technique, right-clicking Script Table As, right, we can get the basic template on how to do updates and deletes and inserts and so on. So really, I can steal much of this, copy, come over to my stored procedure, and paste. Because I'm going to be inserting into. Now, it's fully qualifying the name. If I don't want all that, I can take that out. Probably a good idea, because leaving that full qualified name will be a problem when you say hand in your work. If it has the name of your database there again, it's something else you'd have to replace, right? If you're going to take out the username underscore. But anyway, inserting into university course, the course name, title, credits, right? And then down here is where we'd actually want to provide the value. So another thing I can make use of is the fact that this section here really nicely defines my data types for and the names for my parameters. So I'm going to just grab all this, copy, and paste it up here. And then what I'll do is I'll do a little magic with search and replace. These left angle brackets, okay, using the replace, I'm going to replace that with the @ symbol, right? Because I'm going to use those as variable names. Now, I mean, I'm just saving some typing here, so these tips are not necessary, but I'm just showing you some ways that you can help get rid of some of the manual typing work that, you know, I personally hate to do. Okay, no, that's one thing. Now, maybe for the rest of it, I'll just take out these commas after the, don't need these at all, so I'll just do a Control H, replacing the right angle bracket, the greater than symbol, with nothing, just to strip them out. Okay. So just getting rid of all these extra commas and so on. Okay, so now my parameters are the course name, the course title, the credits, the department ID. Notice that I have all the commas after each one until the final one here, okay? And it is also specified as an output parameter. So then I insert into the table, okay, for those 4 fields, the parameters themselves. Now, in this case, basically just take off all this stuff at the end of each line. And don't forget that last comma as well. Okay, I've got extra commas here, which I don't want. Just to avoid syntax errors. Okay, so that's my insert command. Then, the final thing after it finishes inserting is to generate the output value, right? So I already have the parameter defined up here, so I don't have to declare it because it already is a parameter, right? So I don't have to make it as a separate local variable. So all I really have to do is set, maybe I'll use caps, my @course ID, my output parameter, equal to my scope identity. And that should work for my procedure. Right? It's getting all the values I need with their data types as parameters. To do the insert statement itself, the course ID is the identity that's being generated by the system, and this will return it as an output parameter. So, cross my fingers, unless I miss some commas which are not required or something, I should get command completed successfully. So that's the first part. Let's just go back to the instructions. Test it by creating a new 3-credit course named MIS 999 for X&A game development in Department ID 1, which is Management Information Systems. So I have to write a little test script, right? Insert a record and select it back. That's the general idea of many of our tests, is just to make sure that the functionality happens. Okay, where's my mouse gone? Here, mousey. All right, so